Mr. Grozev said you spoke to a Russian agent who said that they believe that Americans are using these same weapons on them. Is that correct?
That is correct, back in the 80s.
Might that have something to do with part of the CIA's motive to cover up the existence of this tech and these weapons?
That is a very logical possibility.
Many Americans, including other members that I've spoken to recently, don't exactly know what to think of these anomalous health incidents. I spoke to one the other day, just yesterday, who said, I thought that was debunked. Like Havana syndrome, where our citizens are claiming very serious medical conditions following perceived attacks. And after hearing your testimonies, it sounds like all three of you believe that these are hostile actions orchestrated by our adversaries against American citizens. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes. Not all of them, of course.
Okay. And I can't remember which one of you said at least 68 incidents that you believe to be attacks using these type of weapons. Is that correct?
At least 68 incidents, I said, cannot be explained away with pre-existing conditions or psychosomatic symptoms.
Can you go over again real quick, Mr. Grozev, why you believe that our nation's own law enforcement and intelligence investigations have concluded the opposite of the claims made here today?
One general observation, and again, I don't know the answer, but based on my 10 years of investigation of Russian intelligence operations and observing the parallel findings of law enforcement and intelligence publications, I find that there's an over-reliance on something that a colleague and a victim, a colleague of the victims and a victim himself, called the drinking straw insight that is unfortunately used for many of the conclusions. Reliance on human intelligence sources that may be recruited within the Russian intelligence community, who are asked, do you know if this is you guys? And the answer may be no, and that may be a very honest, sincere answer. From my investigation, it's clear that any operation like this is heavily compartmentalized and it's firewalled to a degree where even other members of the same unit might not be aware that this has been going on. And to rely on human intelligence for conclusions of this stature is probably very inefficient. What we do find is unexplained travel. We find unexplained communications that all point to a very plausible and internally consistent theory that these people are behind the attacks. Again, I can see several reasons why the US intelligence might not want to make that public, but they must make it known to qualified and in a secure setting and provide answers to our findings.
Guys, if your assessments here are correct, these are very covert weapons, aren't they? They don't leave behind bomb fragments, bullet holes, etc. They could absolutely be used by our adversaries and have very low levels of, very easy to deny that they were even there, that they were used. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things, especially on the low duration, the low intensity, long duration hits.
But you were saying that the targets are most often always either CIA, FBI, intelligence, law enforcement individuals. Is that correct?
No, I said diplomats, intelligence community, and Department of Defense make up the lion's share. You often don't hear about the Department of Defense, despite DoD having 5 or 10 times the number of survivors that Department of State has.
Thank you for that correction, sir. And you guys also said that these attacks are happening right here in this city. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Can you expound on that a little bit more?
I mean, there have been some that have gone public with respect to Washington, D.C. The particularly credible ones, and I'm not saying that those are not credible, but the ones that have received the most attention on the inside of the intelligence community are in Northern Virginia, and they are particularly of CIA personnel.
I think it was Mr. Grozev said, you spoke to a Russian agent who said that they believe that Americans are using these same weapons on them. Is that correct?
That is correct, back in the 80s.
Might that have something to do with part of the CIA's motive to cover up the existence of this tech and these weapons?
That is a very logical possibility.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.